Hello YouTube land, Richard here. I got a request to show the pulled off lower unit, which I did pull it off, but I did have some problems. Actually, I did tip over my motor, which was not fun. What happened is, and this is for the gentleman that is requesting a photo of the shift rod. Anyway, with the motor, long story short, what happened is I was trying to get my lower unit out and I disconnected my shift rod, and this is something you guys could be aware of, is the thing was disconnected and it wouldn't come out, and I couldn't figure out why. And believe it or not, I think this thing had sat in salt water, and there was corrosion barnacles and all kinds of shellfish, barnacles and worm-like shellfish things, all kinds of shell, matter, I'll put it to you that way, and marine growth was encrusted in there. So when I went to pull this out, I believe this right here, was hanging up on all of the marine growth which was around us. So I kept yanking on the lower unit, pulling, not realizing I was, pulling it sideways, which is the worst thing you could do. It's obviously a mistake. The lift, I got the motor under the tarp there. I'm trying to get I'm replacing my steering control arm, and I'm getting this nut. I got to get that off, and I had to get a special socket for that. Half-inch drive, the whole 9 yards. Anyway, I'm still working on it. But long story short, I had to keep yanking until this broke through all the marine growth. Now, somebody emailed me and wanted a picture because they bought, I believe he said he bought a 90 motor, or no, his 90 horsepower outboard blue, and he got a 140, and the shift rod is not matching. There's your shift rod picture. But however, sir, you got to realize that there's two types of OMCs. Like, I'm not up to date on the really new ones, but there are loopers and cross flows. The cross flows they actually made, I believe, into the late 80s. I know they did. I got an 87 over there. That it was a cross flow. And this is a 94. And one of the telltale signs you got a looper is, number one, the motor cover. Let me see. I could show you on this outboard over here. This is a 110. This is the exact same. The V4s are all pretty much the same, but that's what I'm getting to. When you see how you have this angle and then a short back and then another angle, it's like an arrowhead shape, right? You see how it narrows in the front, but a looper will have basically one straight back, and it's taller than this. It's a taller hood. So, and at a certain point, even this, the cross flow, I believe that's a V6 gear case on it. They started putting the V6 gear cases on the cross flows, and basically, so you got to find out if you got a V6 gear case, and also you got to, of course, you got to get the right, you got to get the right shaft length. If you get a 20, a lower unit with a 20-inch, it's not going to make it, for a 25-inch. So, you got to get all your stuff right, obviously. This is a 25-inch motor, and this is a looper, like I say, a V4. Here's another great way to tell if you got a looper. This is why I'm ditching the cross flows altogether. They run great, but their thermostat, when it comes time to change it, the design is incredibly bad. And I virtually, I had, it's so hard to get them out. The bolts, have a tendency to strip, this, that, and the other thing. But however, if you got a looper on top of your head, over the cylinders, the thermostats are on the top of the head. You'll see the little 4-bolt enclosure for your thermostat. That's another easy way to tell you got a looper. But basically, the arrowhead, shaped hood is a cross flow. So, and then, you got the gear cases. You got the regular gear case, and then they went to the V4. This is a 94 motor, and they only made two loopers like this. They made the 94 140. Well, actually, no, they started making it in 88 to, I'm not exactly how sure, but anyway, for mine, you got this rounded lower unit. But anyway, I'm going to tag this gentleman so he can see this shift linkage. When my motor fell, because it's all dirt, and I was yanking on it sideways, which was, I was exhausted and not thinking clearly. Anyway, I thought the motor was destroyed, but what happened, it actually did a pretty good job. It's on dirt number 1, but I damaged the lower cowling. The lower cowling, which is fiberglass, it busted up, and I immediately found a replacement on eBay, which is the gold mine, for parts for these. What would we do without eBay? I don't know. I certainly, one of my favorite sites. So I got a new lower shroud. Actually, I could even fix the one that got bashed up, but that would involve the putty and the fiberglass work and everything. I might just put it up for sale for somebody else to deal with that. I just bought something where I could just take it off. And I broke a coil, I broke a spark plug, and also that spark plug trashed the wire, which I'm just taking a wire off another motor I got. So yeah, I was not happy about that, and I wish I was filming for that, because that would have been almost comedy material there. Me trying to stop that thing from falling. They weigh around 415 pounds, or mine does, something like that. And I'm just lucky I didn't get, crushed by it. But anyway, lower unit. Also, the water pump, it got busted. And, like my shaft, when it fell, was still hanging in it. And actually, once it got on the ground, I yanked the rest of this through the marine growth. I don't know what kind of problems I'll have getting it back, but maybe I got to get a steel rod. But my plan is I'm probably gonna get this steering shaft done, hopefully. I did get all the bolts out successfully. I'm gonna get them out, and I'm gonna attach, when it comes time to put the motor on, I'm gonna put it on without the lower unit. This way, I will have, I could control it with the tilt to get the right angle. And if I tilt it up, I could poke a rod up there to get marine growth. It'll just be easier to work with. And also that much lighter. This lower unit, this is, like I say, the V6 lower unit is on the certain V4 motors. It's heavy. Like, I have an inboard, outboard lower unit. I have the lower unit for an Alpha, which I'll probably put up for sale. I paid a ton of money back in 1998 to have that rebuilt by a dealership. I had the friend who worked at the dealership, and he did a great job. But I paid in 1998, I think I paid around $1,400 to have that thing rebuilt. But getting back to the story, I'm really surprised at the weight of this lower unit. I think it's heavier than the Alpha lower unit, which is, that's an inboard outboard lower unit. And, well, actually the gears for the Alpha, that determine the ratio, for a V8, 6-cylinder, all of that, they're actually in the upper part of the Alpha stern drives. That's a little free information. Anyway, this should satisfy this gentleman's request. And anyway, you see where I am. I did get a water pump rebuild kit anyway. I didn't care about this. I was concerned about, maybe these things bending, but everything looked like it survived. They're tougher than you think. Falling on the dirt was definitely a plus, but when it fell, this thing was like hanging midway. And it's, this is a hardened steel thing, and as you can see, everything looks pretty straight. And I think it survived it. The water pump, of course, is a little chewed up, and I got a new kit. I'm rebuilding that anyway. Anytime you take off your lower unit, you definitely want to at least change your impeller. However, if you're pulling it apart, you should just, in my opinion, you should just go all new, unless everything's perfect. It depends on your budget, but you can just replace the impeller. But as long as your stainless steel walls inside the pump are not pitted, because that will wear it out. And also, remember, it only takes around less than a minute to shred your impeller if it don't have water. So make sure you always got the water, the muffs on, or you have to have the muffs on or it in a barrel of water, because your impeller will be toast in a minute. There's lots of manuals that actually timed it, and like 45 seconds, you have basically a piece of worthless garbage. Your impeller will be worthless. And all right, I don't want to get too repetitive, but this is where we're at, and this is the lower unit that's off. And the whole reason I pulled this off is so I could do my steering control arm. And I did get all the bolts out. I used PB Blaster, WD, soaking, and I did not have an impact wrench. I got it off by hand. They were tight, but I used wrenches on my ratchets for leverage. It's an old machine shop trick that I use all the time. And it's very powerful. There's a lot of bolts you'll never break with just your hands and the ratchet, but when you put a big ass box wrench on the end of that, you loop it through the box end, and then you have like a foot extension, and that leverage is gold. But so I got to get that bolt off of that thing so I can pull a steering arm out of this. I'm losing light. I don't even know if you can see this. You see, the steering arm is running through the bracket and all of that. And long story short, excuse me, I got the big socket for that bolt, but it is corroded. I just took my little Dremel tool here and it's got a little wire brush on it, and I actually buzzed the threads so to minimize any resistance trying to back that bolt off. However, my game plan is if that thing don't come off, I'm gonna cut that bolt off or even grind it off. And my new steering arm on eBay came with one of these things, this unit here. So even if I have to grind and damage that to get it off, I'll be cool because I still got one. And when you are in the market for a steering control arm, you know, a lot of guys do sell it with this component. Another tricky thing was, you know, these engineers are amazing. You would think that that shaft, at first glance, before I really investigated, I thought that steering shaft was threaded into that, but actually it is. It's got a similar. It resembles, you know, it resembles this. Let me see. Let's see if I can focus on that. Yeah, it is, you know, slotted like that. So it actually bangs right into that thing, and it bangs straight off. There's no twisting. I could have been ugly. I would have been there forever, but I found that information somewhere online. But I'm going to end this, and I will update you. You know, a lot of people, you will see a lot of people say, pull off the power head to do this. I just don't see why. It's totally unnecessary. I am going to do this, I believe, without ever touching that power head. The only thing you got to do is pull off the lower unit, because your shift rod is running through that steering control arm tube. So once you get that out, it's basically 4 bolts in the bottom thing, 4 bolts there, and then you got the 2 on top that are really torqued in there. Yeah, you can see the 4 holes there. I also got a snail. I'm living in like a tropical rainforest down here. You never know what the heck you're gonna run into. I just had a friggin' rat or something run by. But anyway, hopefully I get this darn thing going. My next project will be the Wave Runner, which I don't trust the fuel. I got to pull it out, see if that runs. And, you know, it was running great. We'll see. The worst thing you could do is let them sit. But I did winterize it correctly. And take the time to winterize your stuff, guys, because I've had motors lock up in like 4 or 5 months. You definitely want to fog the cylinders at a minimum. Try to drain the gas out of the carburetors. You know, you'll save yourself a whole lot of headaches. This video has already gone way too long, but with that being said, peace out, and I'm gonna publish this soon and tag that gentleman so he can get the info he needs. And, you know, write me back, sir. You gotta know your models, you know, before you go getting any parts. With that being said, stay safe, everybody. As a disclaimer, anything I do in my videos is for exhibition purposes only. Any information from my videos that you use or any actions that you duplicate, you are 100% on your own. And by watching this, you consent to those terms, you know, and hold the creator harmless. Anyway, stay safe, gentlemen. Peace out. And I got a new case for this because it is not focusing through this waterproof case. I did get a new one, and hopefully my video qualities will go up. The sun is going down, and I'm surprised I even got this much light, but stay safe. Peace out.